So self-improvement on YouTube, it's like the probably like one of the biggest things that's coming to light today. And there's a lot of good that's coming from it. A lot of people are spreading good messages, but there's also a lot of grifters and a lot of angry people, a lot of people with the wrong mindset. So you really have to take things with a grain of sand and see through the shit and call a spade a spade. There's a lot of genuine people that are here spreading a lot of genuine messages. And the beauty of it is whatever you're struggling with, even though we live in kind of like this isolated society, we aren't alone, because whatever we're struggling with, we can type a video in on YouTube and find it like right then and there. And honestly, that's pretty amazing. Like, we have so much power in this age of information that it's so much information that oftentimes we get lost. Just like how if you read a bunch of books and you didn't, apply that knowledge, it's essentially the same thing with the YouTube. It's, you can watch a million videos, but eventually you have to implement these things in your life. You have to start taking the action. So self-improvement on YouTube, there's a lot of good, but you can't get caught in that rabbit hole. You have to realize that ultimately life comes down to balance. It's not about going monk mode and not having any friends or it's not about like selling everything you own or, just making a bunch of money or getting jacked. You have to find the balance and peace and do the inner work in yourself. Be still, be by yourself, reflect, and grow. And, once you start channeling that, you can start to tap into your deeper level of purpose. And, that's the beautiful thing about it, because once you find your purpose, everything just seems to kind of make sense. How people say everything happens for a reason? Well, all of a sudden, it feels like those things are actually happening. Like, you get this clarity. And it's almost like you're just on autopilot with whatever you're doing. And that's what they say, life is about doing what you love. So, not everyone can be some big YouTuber, but a lot of people can give back and help others. And, that's what life is really, that's one of the most fulfilling things that anybody can do in life, is to give back and help others. And that's why this YouTube is really taken off and why it's so beautiful, because in this cold world we live in, there is still a bunch of light. You just have to seek it. And so, when people get onto their purpose, everything starts to click. You have a clear conscience, clear focus, and you're not clouded by the matrix or the agenda or society, And that's the reality. We have to breed more free thinkers in this life and not, just media robots or just wandering sheep. And, that's what it comes down to, being able to think for yourself and find that balance and apply principles that you learn through books or through the internet. There's so much good information out there, but you guys have to find the balance with it. And that's a mistake I made. I took so much in, and I continued to isolate or, neglect certain things. Like, the big one for me was weed. I'm doing all these things for self-improvement. I'm eating clean, I'm eating organic, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but yet I'm still smoking weed every day, multiple times a day. And, I finally had to get real with myself and say, what are you doing? Like, you've spent most of your life doing this. Like, it's time to change. And that's what we all have to do with those deepest, darkest vices or, self-harming habits that we have. We have to be able to get real with ourselves and say, you know what? This isn't going to be easy. This is who I identify as. But I know to get to the next level and to evolve, I have to get past this. And for me, I've done really well in life lately, but I've still had some major things holding me back, which I've just released a video talking about. And I'll continue to talk about for, many, many videos to come, because those were my two biggest struggles. And I was sold lies. I was sold lies that, weed's fine, it's medical, smoking every day is good, And then from a young age, I was the playboy in high school, and I was always praised for being the guy that gets a lot of girls. You know, that's why I had a lot of friends. Everyone wanted to be friends with me, and at the time I couldn't really process it, but it was all just superficial, you know. And man, it's like when I finally unplugged out of that 10 years later and realized that, you know, the X amount of girls that I had dated and screwed around with were all meaningless. Like, sure, it's good to get experience, but again, you got to find your balance, guys. You know, you can't get carried away with any one thing. And me, I'm an extremist, so whatever I do, I go to the lengths. And I manifested I spent way too much energy doing the wrong things. And not too proud of it. But I'm here to open up and be authentic so that maybe I can touch some lives, because I feel like that's what it's all about. And so, you know, self-improvement really comes down to balance, guys. It comes down to being real with yourself, blocking out all the noise, all the outside influence, and looking at yourself and improving. And there's many tools to help you with that, but you must find balance and not get carried away. And, you know, it's really easier said than done. But I think one of the best things you can do is just sit here and talk to the camera. You know, if you're not a journal guy, you know, writing is a little inefficient, I think, but it still is very powerful and probably still the best. But to really get a lot out at one time and to really make waves with your analysis or with influencing and helping others, the videos are the answer for that. And, you know, that's why I'm going to continue this path, holding myself accountable, being real, talking about things that aren't quite easy to talk about, that I'll get judged for, or people will think differently from me. But that's what it's all about, guys. You have to get out of your head and get out of your ego and stop caring what other people think. You know, the people that have the most success on YouTube, I've seen it. I know exactly what the formula is. It's brutal authenticity. You know, it's not